Antonio Brown.
Dog, Antonio Brown's hilarious. We have lost him. He's so funny. ESPN and Fox Sports, quote, want to always talk about allegations of players who playing, trying to hurt their image. Don't care if it's true or not, but, excuse me, when employees have allegations, they look the other way. What do y'all think about that in terms of our sports media coverage? Because it's weird. You know, the Fox lawsuit that happened, you sitting there like, y'all really gonna act like y'all ain't?
They ain't say a word.
They ain't say a word. And then, yeah, and then now this one. Any problem with that, or are you just like, whatever?
I think naturally people just protect their own. And I think if you get out there and start talking about it too much, now you might open up more lawsuits. So it's better to just keep it under wraps and hope that it quietly goes away.
So as a viewer, I'm sitting there saying this, because I agree. That's the smart way to do it. Don't, what they say? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will. See, that's the part people forget. Will, mother. Like, forget the can. We gonna use it. Even if you, and this is why I remember police are saying, dog, don't say nothing. You think you saying something that's gonna help you, we gonna twist that shit. So that's why they say will. So then, but I'm watching, I'm like watching Fox shows or, you know, watching this, and I'm like, y'all ain't even got a blanket press statement? Y'all ain't, but then an athlete sneezes, and they sitting there like, we gonna get you, and got you covered and splattered off of potential allegations. Remember when Stephen A. Smith said, I'm bringing the same energy like you did with Deshaun Watson to the kicker, Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker. Which he didn't, because that was the last time I heard about Justin Tucker on there. But the point is, I'm sitting there like, it's kind of weird to me. I don't trust watching TV when you can't tell me, yoo-hoo, the same thing I just killed them for, they after me for, but we'll move on from that. They don't even give you that.
I think the simplest way of saying it is if you talk about the people at your network, it'll take your money. If you talk about them athletes, it'll make you money.
Well, plus simple. There's a
drop the mic.
You're absolutely right about that. And there's professional liability.
Right.
That's talking about your employees.
That's to take your
you know,
money.
You can't. I can't call your old employee and have them tell me why you got fired, or they can't tell me anything but that you worked there from this date to that date. True. So they can't talk about their employees, especially when stuff is still pending.
You know what's wild about that? Because that's dope. Like, that was a drop the mic moment. I've been on set with somebody before under fire, and there's nothing worse. Because you sitting there like, why are we talking about the damn Patriots? Your ass, they lighten your ass up, boy.
That's all you want to talk about, right?
You know me. You know me, fuck this show. Like, no, we get way better ratings.
I really want to ask you.
No. Why did you do that? And you just sitting there faking it, and then you go on a commercial break. That's what corporate culture is, like, protect your own, right? Just make it at any cost despite anybody else's pushback or apprehension. But it don't, I think that's why traditional media, it's set up to not fail, but to not outpace independent media. Because independent media is going to be like even Shannon, he was like, he put his fingers like this.
This is not
I saw somebody say,
this is not true.
This is a lie. As soon as you integrate your fingers, you lying. And then it was like, I want to tell you guys and protect, you know, my image and tell the truth and be real to my fan. But then,
getting impeached.
But yeah, straight off the prompter.
That and wearing glasses. You got to put the two.
Put the glasses on. Yeah. He's reading prompter, but it's authentic, which, I mean, you could have wrote it authentically, but then the cut and paste of the
which all circles back to, if people don't know what your authentic self is, you're in trouble.
Yep.
It makes us doubt you way more than we should.
That's right.
It should have been, hell no, that's it. Dumb as hell, messing with that young girl. Move on. But it wasn't. And you know why I know it wasn't? Because Shannon came out too much like this. Look, if I know I'm going to whoop your ass, let me give you my Master Kim story. Y'all know who Master Kim is? Nobody does. Okay. So my kids go to Taekwondo. Eugene does. Master Kim is this like 70-some-year-old, 17 times black belt. But he's 70-something. But he still can get into prayer pose. Like, He limber as hell. He'll whoop your ass. He the nicest guy in the world to us civilians. To them kids, oh, they listen to every word he says because they know Master Kim don't play. My point is this. I remember talking to him one time. I was like, Master Kim, you ever get into a fight? He said, no fights. I was like, why? He's like, not fair. I was like, not fair to who? Like, your ass is said, I give you something that you don't want. He's like, not fair to them. He's like, I see it all coming from a mile away. I was like, ooh. And he said that's why he doesn't fight, because he knows who he is, and it would not be right to do it. When you're authentic, you ain't fighting, you ain't blasting, because you know I got this. And that's what when we were talking about earlier, which is interesting, like when they're not authentic, it shows. It literally shows how much they fighting, like how much they trying to really win it back, and you're like, you ain't even lose it. Why won't you trust your lawyers to just win this out? You already trusted them for the 6 quiet weeks of mediation. Why didn't it go to that extent is kind of the conversation.
And what is somebody who has been authentic that you know, what's the first thing they say? You know me. Right. You know good and well I wouldn't do that.
He didn't say that.
You know what I mean? And if you can't say that, then there's something wrong.
Damn. That is deep. Because I don't believe any of the allegations to that degree, even though that's totally irresponsible to say it because I wasn't there. But I'm like reading it. I'm like, I don't believe that. But I do believe you got finessed. And I do believe that you got finessed largely because you got so far away from what you were and what we thought you were. And therefore, the finesse, she came right in that gap of like, oh, they going to believe this because you ain't, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't been that same dude.
Perfect person you said you are.
Yeah.
Plus we're never going to look at him the same way.
Nah.
Right?
No, that's a good question. Will we? No. Can you? I think you
my
can.
My perception didn't change from him.
Not 1 degree?
Mine did.
Not really.
Mine did.
I already knew he liked skiing. So that didn't change much. And then
skiing is one thing, but 19-year-olds and you're 55.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't
it's
really
hard to ski when the snow ain't hit the mountain yet. Like,
you know,
this goes back to
you
when
can't ski in the air, man.
Wait,
19.
I don't kill him for the
snowflakes in the
19-year-old
air.
thing. Now, if she was 17, 16, then I'd be like, oh, no. 19, I'm like, all right, whatever.
You'd be surprised.
If that's what you like, knock yourself
You'd be
out.
surprised what you find out about some of your favorite people in the world.
never meet your hero.
And what
Everybody
they
got
like.
skeletons.
Never date your hero.
Yeah,
or
and what they
fantasy.
like and what they do behind closed doors.
You mean, oh, they're human?
Yeah, you'd be heartbroken to see. So my perception doesn't change.
Yeah.
Of him and that. So it's just like, all right, dude, if that's what you like, that's what you like.
That's how I looked at it.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, we work in entertainment, so we're
Ooh,
used
yeah.
to it.
We blue state.
We're used to it.
Yeah,
you
we
know what I
blue state
mean?
like a mother.
Jaded. You get
We,
jaded.
yeah, we out here
Our
in
boys
LA.
from Chicago are like, what?
That's true.
What? What?
Yeah.
This dude, what?
I didn't think about
And
that.
that's his fan base, a large that flyover,
Yeah.
that down south. They don't play that like you faking it. You trying to manipulate us?
Right.
Like they don't play it like we do on New York and Cali.
See, this
Like we
goes
get the
back-
game. Right. I'm glad he said that. No one chooses football. Football chooses you.
It's so crazy people still stuck in Patrick Mahomes in the offense. I'm like, do you see these numbers? This is Marcellus Wiley on the rocks.